Hi, hello and welcome, this is Matt from Battle Misfit, and this is our coverage of EGX and Play Expo 2015. Okay, so some time has passed since EGX a couple of weeks ago, and we had a couple of delays, partially due to technical difficulties, partially due to the fact that we only had one person on the project, and it certainly had nothing to do with a recent game that came out which may or may not have taken up the one editor's remaining time. So we've decided to put both Play Expo and EGX in the same video. First up, here's the major releases. These games are going to be coming out over the next couple of months, so there's a little bit of a sneak peek for you. Star Wars Battlefront. Calling this a reboot to the Battlefront series would be inaccurate. The new game under the Star Wars license that features what could be considered battles taking place on some sort of front go out of their way to separate themselves not from its predecessors but also from shooters in general. There's no reloading due to the overheat model of the rifles, and grenades that are part of your loadout evenly if you choose them aren't based on the number you have but rather taking time to recharge. As a result, it takes away from a scavenger-like mentality and makes the games feel more based on action, giving you no reason to stop and collect ammo, which helps differentiate itself from shooters sticking to more popular weapon systems. Vehicles and special abilities use charges that are collected on the map, as opposed to finding and climbing aboard vehicles. Instead, your soldier will call in support, which you then control. Air battles are integrated into the main map rather than separating them like in previous games. This helps make everything feel more interconnected, and the whole experience comes across as more epic. The game now has more objective-based battles, with Imperials protecting a giant AT-AT walker on Hoth to make sure it gets the power generator to destroy it, while Rebels must destroy the AT-ATs. This is accomplished by securing power points and gaining charges for their Y-wing bombing run, making the AT-ATs vulnerable to attack, including the opening to trip them up using the snowspeeder tow cables. Hopefully the other maps will have their own objectives in the main game, making this one more unique. It's worth noting that the beta for the game has come out since I played this, so my opinions have changed and I now have a better idea of the overall game. It wasn't the same map that I played at the Expo, but I want to go into a more in-depth look at the beta itself. So if you click on this link now, you can go to that article at battlemisfit.com. Halo 5 Guardians Warzone. Warzone is a game mode which combines traditional deathmatch with AI opponents. Points are scored either by taking down human players or by fighting AI generals. Some players aren't too keen on fighting players, so I wonder if this will help encourage said players to play these game modes, even if they would normally choose to avoid the multiplayer entirely. Power weapons and vehicles are brought now using points. Players can save up points for more powerful equipment like shotguns, rocket launchers, and mantis walkers. This should help fix the issue of previous games where only players who knew the map could get the power weapons, making them feel like it's more of a level playing field. However, you only get a few power weapons, limiting the number on the battlefield, so the game doesn't feel completely broken by an overabundance of rocket launchers and walker tanks. The game is pretty much the same gameplay-wise as the beta early in the year. Use the jetpack to boost across the map and help cover ground quickly. No new weapons to report, save for a forerunner ship that boosts around vertically to outmaneuver the enemy. The recurring theme, however, seems to be putting everyone on a level playing field, with consistent abilities rather than equipable abilities like previous games, and power weapons are more accessible. Just Cause 3. This game is pretty much the same as Just Cause 2, except with better graphics and new abilities. The ability to connect multiple objects and retract the cables opens up a lot of possibilities, expanding on functions from previous games in a cool new way. This is expanded upon with the new destruction physics, which allow for parts of a statue to detach and even interact with the rest of the statue, as well as for the destruction of bridges. The wingsuit allows for faster movement, but it's a little tricky to get used to. I found most of my time wingsuiting ended up with me eating dirt. It's an awesome addition, which adds a new dimension to the open world. The mode I played was just free roam, which didn't really differentiate itself from the previous game. It's too soon to tell without seeing what new activities are available, but for now it looks like the last game with a new coat of paint, which might be what you're looking for. Now, on to the indie games. What you're about to see is a montage of different interviews that we've had over the past couple of weeks. If at any point that you like what you see and want to find out more about the game, you can click on the video and it'll take you to the full interview. Even if you don't want to see the full interview, the website link and links to any demos, green lights, or when the game is going to be out will be displayed on the screen, so you won't miss anything. So without any further ado, let's get to the video. Fully illustrated, which is a very appropriate style considering the art style. It looks amazing.
It's a fun and family-friendly arcade racing game, exclusive to virtual reality. So the difference is you're actually in the kart and you're driving on the track rather than watching it.
So basically, it's Mario Kart combined with Banjo-Kazooie, and it looks as adorable as sin.
Pretty much, yeah. Throw in a couple of other games for good measure with that too.
So it's a puzzle platformer. That's a difficult one actually. It's an endless running game actually, but it's got puzzle platformer elements. So you're basically constantly running, but rather than running linearly along a track, you're sort of navigating sort of fairly simple puzzle-based platforming levels.
Well, it's the most Nintendo thing we could think of. The game is based off of a bunch of titles I used to play when I was younger. I liked Solar Jetman on the NES, and we liked Thrust on the C64. And we wanted to bring it into like more graphically fabulous, and we wanted it to be like a front room experience. We wanted 4 players to be able to sit down and have a little battle, and we wanted something that was silly and that well, was just sort of adventurous.
It's a hardcore platformer in the vein of sort of Super Meat Boy and stuff like that, but it's something that everyone can play. So every time you die, you leave... well, you're a bear for a start. You're Rude Bear. You're like a bear from East London who's a gangster, and you've been sent back to medieval England by your mortal nemesis, and you've got to get through these horrible towers. But every time you die, your body stays behind, and then you can run and jump on your bodies and pile them up and then just use them to get ahead.
Super Adventure Blast 2 is a 2D platforming game. It's a sequel to the award-winning Flash game that was on Armour Games, Congruent, all of those ones. But now we're bringing a full version, completely like new, loads of cool features. You're a kid on your mission to save your dad, but you've got your pet giraffe in your back pocket, in your backpack, sorry, and you use him to get across the level. Like, you use him as a grappling hook. You use him as ways of like opening doors and all sorts of things. So
Sublevel Zero is a 6 Degree of Freedom shooter. So if you're familiar with Descent or Forsaken, it's sort of a similar style of game where you're in a gunship, zero gravity, sort of all inside tight-knit corridors, shooting enemies. The sort of the spin that we've got is that the levels are randomly generated. We've got like sort of a permadeath mechanic. So
Well, it's a very hardcore arena-style brawler.
One thing I noticed about this game is that it's very hard when you get really into it. I mean, it starts off fairly simple, and then by the end, giant troll in a tank suit.
And it's about brave and stubborn snail called Bob, and you must help Bob in his adventures.
He seems like a very happy snail. He doesn't seem to mind that he's in terrible danger almost all the time.
Rock is a action-adventure game where you have the power of telekinesis to solve puzzles, defeat enemies, and kind of like use stealthily to like escape a imprisonment in a Norse futuristic setting.
It's got a really cool art style. It looks like kind of claymation, kind of mixed with Another World. Have you ever played that?
Yes.
Radboarding is basically an apocalyptic snowboarding game where there's lots of fast-paced action and you're being chased by this incredible lava. And you have to perform tricks to gain speed and outrun the lava.
Not just lava, but giant bear as well.
It's a boxing management game. You know, like football managers, but this is like boxing manager. And it's made in all pixelated retro style. And it has elements of RPG and strategy and
it's way stupid as well.
It's made by Not Games. They've also made a game called Not GTA 5, which is available on Steam, I've heard. And apparently, all of the profits from that game go to charity, and you get to play a game made by ladies, which is nice.
So this is it's a physics-based puzzle game where you are this green monster and you're pushing him through the world, use this eraser tool.
Yeah, the control mechanics are kind of unique in that the way you move your character through the world is to actually destroy your own cells and use shape and mold yourself and use that to get through the various obstacles you encounter. So
this is a 2 to 4 player cooperative competitive party game. So it's all about playing together to get the best team score, but at the end of the day there's always a first place winner. So do you want to play together or do you want to be first?
The Friendship Club is a sort of bullet hell party game. set in the imagination of a young boy whose imaginary friends are battling to be his best buddy. It's like a kind of crazy sort of procedural level generated, bullets bounce forever, semi-tactical slugfest.
It's a fast-paced action arcade game for iOS and Android. It's all about wielding fire in different ways to burn numerous evil critters, and you have special weapons, potions, kind of boss creatures as well. There's achievements and leaderboards, so yeah, that's in a nutshell.
It's a action RPG / roguelike, kind of a roguelike meets Bloodborne. So you're a knight going through an endless tower, you're coming to the end of your life and you're kind of repenting for your sins or trying to die with honour, and the aim of the game is to try and get as far as you can in the tower before meeting an untimely demise.
Era is a turn-based fighting game with 30 different characters, 10 different fighting styles and 16 different elements. Basically, you go into the game, you choose your character and you teach him like a different fighting style. Now this fighting style, you teach him like a range of different moves and from different styles. Now each character has its own element, so he's going to learn spells from that particular element.
Blood is a great game. It's great because it has very familiar mechanics to all the players. It has mechanics of Minesweeper and it's roguelike dungeon crawler.
Nothing just can be so best summed up as if you took games like Mario Kart and you mixed it with animations like Wacky Races and Pixar's Up, you're quite close. It's a game about a story about 7 old age pensioners who are racing for their souls against the Grim Reaper around a big 3D open world.
A 9-player multiplayer party game for the Wii U. It's a sequel to our previous game, Chompy Chomp Chomp, but we just put a party on the end and decided to make it bigger and more crazy. So yeah, it goes up to 9 players, all local, so as many people as you can fit in a living room, 3 different game modes, and just a variety of more stuff, really.
And it's just like just how fast you can move, but at the same time how slow you can take it.
Yeah.
It's all stealth based, like in the light and the dark.
Well, I love arena brawler games like Super Smash Bros. We've been playing a lot in the office, like in our lunchtimes. Yeah, in our lunchtimes, all we'd really do is play games like Samurai Gun, Nidhogg, Towerfall. Like those are those are our favorite games. So we wanted to make one. So yeah, we just thought we'd do our own kind of take. And
so Asura is basically a hack and slash roguelike, wherein you craft a character using elemental runes and slay enemies for loot and try to invade the fortress of the enemies. And then you're trying to enter this earth, and that's what you do basically.
One of the things that I noticed that when you die, you lose everything.
Yeah.
So if you're a fan of like Bloodborne and Dark Souls, those games that like if you die, there is a price.
It's essentially very different types of music rather than just one specific genre.
Yeah, it definitely feels like while you're going through it, it's like it's choreographed to a music video. It looks like something you see in the 90s. It's really fluid movement as well.
That's one of the things we tried to do heavily is actually time all the elements in the environment to be specific to the music track.
Right, okay, I think it's because I have a session with the number 88. So 88 Heroes is all about the number 88. So you've got 88 playable characters. Most games you just have one, like maybe Mario or Sonic. So we've got 88. Each one plays quite differently. They have good points and bad points. But also you have 88 rooms to get through. You have 88 seconds per room. If you kill an enemy, you get 88 points. So yeah, the whole game revolves around the number 88, and that's why we decided upon 88 playable heroes in the end, which we're kind of regretting now because it's a lot of work.
I think somewhere in some part of the world, Jim Carrey's looking at a large board with your game, and it's like, what does the number mean?
Okay, to wrap this up, let's take a look at some of the indie games that we played but didn't have a chance to talk to anybody about. Either they weren't at the convention, or we just didn't have any time. But I wanted to give a spotlight to everything that I've seen, so these are some honourable mentions. Poncho, a side-scrolling puzzle game which uses the ability to jump into the foreground and background to solve problems. The game has a laid-back pace, and the music helps sell the atmosphere. However, I found it somewhat cluttered. The reason for this is that it allows jumping into the foreground and background gimmick, though I'm not too sold on it myself. It doesn't feel all that well executed. It lacks challenge too, at least from what I've played, but if you want something to chill out with, then this one's worth a look. I Want to Be Human, a side-scrolling game with a 360-degree shooting and platforming element. It's kind of like Mega Man X, but with full aiming, though it's a little bit more stiff to control. The visuals really make the game, remind me of Jonan Vasquez and Invader Zim fame, with the black and white mixed with blood being the only colours, giving it a very personalised feel. It's also worth noting that the music is done by Jimmy Urine, from the band Mindless Self-Indulgence. So this game has a lot going for it to help it stand out and to help you remember it, with both cool gameplay mechanics and an awesome aesthetics. Cast of the Seven Godsends. On the surface, this game seems like a copy of Ghosts and Ghouls, right down to the jumping animation, but it's the music that really does help sell the game. Here, have a listen. Play Ghosts and Ghouls with a slick anime-style visuals and rockin' a soundtrack, then check this out. Conga Combat. You use your trail, kinda like Tron, to defeat enemies in a survivalist Geometry Wars style setting. It takes some getting used to, but it really gets going when you have 4 players both working together and competing at the same time. It looks cool and plays great. Sokos. Similar to Portal in conception, you use portals to get where you want to go, but it's more difficult with the character constantly walking, and where you can get portals to being limited, plus you go in one portal and come out another, you can't go back and forth. It also has an interesting story, complete with a soothing narrator, and an adorable protagonist. It's for phone too, if you want to experience this one on the go. Finally, City of the Shroud, an RPG game where you build a team to take on opponents, using your positioning and calculating the enemy's range to get the drop in them. It's not turn-based, so battles can get pretty hectic pretty quickly, and your powers take time to recharge, so you can't keep spamming them. The biggest draw being the story, which is written by player decisions within the different factions, and will be released periodically after release. So basically, this is a story that's written by the community. And now to round us off, this is a quick look at a charity that we had an opportunity to talk to while at EGX, Special Effect. This is a charity that works to create gaming utensils for people who might be physically paralysed, with the main emphasis being on children. And with Children Need coming up fairly recently, this might be a good time to think about who you're going to donate to. So, let's take a look.
What's up, guys? This is Matt from Battle Misfit. I'm here with Mark from Special Effect. For those of you who might not know, what is Special Effect?
Okay, Special Effect is a charity, and we help people with physical disabilities who want to be able to enjoy the kind of fun we have gaming. We get them back in the game. We level the playing field for disabled gamers.
It's really inspired what you do because, you know, video games are so much fun and it's such a diverse entertainment market. There might be some people who are out there who can't play it for whatever reason, and that the fact that you can give them a chance to play it it's really inspired, man. And I've seen like over here we have some of the different things we have. We have eye-controlled Minecraft. How does that work?
Okay, basically it's through a system that was originally introduced by marketing companies. They used to use it for tracking where your eyes looked on websites, so they could place adverts in the right places. It's now, you know, there's been a bit of crossover into the assistive technology market. So what we're doing is using it with a couple of bits of software to just do the basics of Minecraft. And for people with high spinal injuries, for people with very, very limited movement of their bodies, it's a great way of getting them back in the game.
So basically you're taking an advertising tool and using it for good, basically.
Well, yeah, that's luckily the whole of the eye gaze market is opening up that way towards, you know, more general use. And who knows, you know, there's a couple of games that have got eye control built in at the moment. We work to people's individual abilities, so we don't sell anything, we don't charge, so we're creating custom setups.
So the other things we have eye gaze VR. What's that? How does that work?
Okay, that one is you've got a standard VR Oculus headset, but you've actually got eye control built in as well. So as well as moving your head, you can actually move your eyes as well. And with those eyes, you can, in this particular example, aim on a box and explode it by clicking a left trigger. So it adds that extra dimension into the game.
So not only are we able to play older games, but we're also able to play this new VR market, which is opening up. And the final thing we've got here is chin-controlled Mario Kart.
Yeah, that's just an example of one setup that we'll use with perhaps somebody who's got a spinal injury but still got a tiny bit of movement in their arms as well. that way they can control the movements of the Mario Karts with their chin, and then they can do all the picking up, the placing, the firing, and the drifting, just with very, very slight finger movements as well. So it's basically taking all the controls that were in a standard controller and sort of exploding them out to various areas of the body.
And do you have a website or URL that people can go to donate?
Yeah, sure. It's www.specialeffect.org.uk.
All right, and you can click on the screen right now and go straight to that website. It's fantastic talking to you. It's really inspired what you're doing here, and I wish nothing but the best for you guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching our videos, and if you're into making video games yourself, maybe you want to check out Coolab. Coolab is an app which helps you find people to help with your different projects, be it voice actors, camera guys, or maybe you want to advertise yourself as an independent developer. You can even filter it down to your local area so you can find people nearby who can help you with your latest project. So make connections, get your projects off the ground, and put your name out there with Coolab. Check it out.